This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Max and Mia podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen and work on your English with us.
Absolutely. We know how valuable your time is, so we've prepared something that we think will be genuinely useful for your daily conversations.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to explore 50 common questions that you're likely to encounter in everyday situations. These aren't complex or unusual questions. They're the ones people actually ask when they're getting to know someone, making plans, or just having a casual chat.
Now, we've organized everything into different categories to make this episode as practical as possible. You'll find timestamps in the description, which means you can jump to whichever section interests you most, or come back to specific categories whenever you need a refresher.
Exactly. You don't have to go through all 50 questions in one sitting. Feel free to tackle a few today, and save the rest for when you have some free time during the week. The goal is to make this work for your schedule.
Before we begin, here's our suggestion for getting the most out of this episode. Try shadowing. Listen to how we pronounce the questions and our responses, then repeat them out loud. It's one of the best ways to improve your fluency and intonation.
And if you can, pause the episode after each question and answer it yourself before you hear our response. This active practice will help you think on your feet and prepare you for real conversations.
Right. So take your time, engage with the material, and let's get started.
All right, let's jump into our first category, daily routine. Max, what time do you usually wake up during the week?
Well, I try to wake up around 6:30, but honestly, it depends on the day. If I've got an early meeting or something important, I'll set my alarm for 6. Otherwise, I give myself that extra half hour to ease into the morning.
Yeah, that buffer time helps. Okay, next one. Do you check your phone immediately when you wake up?
Yeah, I definitely do. I wish I didn't, but it's almost automatic at this point. I reach over to turn off the alarm, and before my eyes are fully open, I'm already checking notifications or scrolling through social media. I tell myself it's just for 1 minute, but suddenly 20 minutes have passed, and I'm rushing to get ready. I know it sets a chaotic tone for the day, so I'm really trying to break the cycle.
It's a tough habit to break. Let's move to number 3. Do you make your bed in the morning?
Most days, yes. It's one of those small things that makes me feel like I've already accomplished something, you know? Plus, coming home to a made bed just feels better. It takes like 2 minutes, so why not?
Fair point. Now I want to ask you, how do you usually get to work or school?
I drive, unfortunately. I'd love to walk or bike, but my office is too far for that. I've been thinking about trying public transport, but the connections aren't great where I live. So yeah, I'm stuck in the car for now, listening to podcasts to make the commute worthwhile.
Speaking of driving, here's question number 5. Is traffic bad in your city right now?
Oh, absolutely. It's gotten worse over the past year or so. Rush hour is a nightmare, especially in the mornings. I've started leaving a bit earlier to avoid the worst of it, but even then, there are days when I'm just crawling along. It's frustrating, but I guess that's city life.
Sounds draining. All right, let's go with the next one. Do you have a busy week ahead?
This week's actually pretty packed. I've got a couple of deadlines coming up, a few meetings scattered throughout, and I'm trying to squeeze in some personal stuff as well. It's manageable, but I'll definitely need to stay organized. How about you?
Same here. Lots going on. Now, here's an interesting one. Are you a spender or a saver with your money?
I'd say I'm more of a saver, but I do treat myself occasionally. I like having that financial cushion, you know. It gives me peace of mind. That said, if there's something I really want or an experience worth having, I won't hesitate to spend. It's all about balance.
Good philosophy. Question number 8. Do you usually go to bed late or early?
I'm trying to go to bed earlier these days, but I'm naturally a night person. I feel more productive in the evening, so I often end up staying up until 11 or even midnight. I know it's not ideal, especially when I have to wake up early, but it's hard to change that rhythm.
I get that. Okay, we have number 9. How many hours of sleep do you need to feel good?
Ideally, 7 to 8 hours. Anything less than 6, and I'm just dragging through the day. I've noticed that sleep quality matters too. Sometimes 7 solid hours feel better than 8 restless ones.
Absolutely. Last question for this section. Do you have a set routine, or do you just go with the flow?
I'd say I'm somewhere in between. I have certain things I do every day, like my morning coffee and checking emails, but I try not to be too rigid. Life happens, plans change, and I think it's important to adapt rather than stress about sticking to a strict schedule. Flexibility keeps things interesting.
Well said. That wraps up our daily routine section. Now let's switch gears to our second category, food and habits. Max, do you drink coffee every single day?
Pretty much, yeah. I'd say it's more of a ritual than a necessity at this point. I love that first cup in the morning. It just sets the tone for the day. Sometimes I'll have a second one in the afternoon if I need a little boost, but I try not to overdo it.
I totally understand that. Next question. Do you take vitamins or supplements?
I do, actually. I take vitamin D, especially during the winter months when there's not much sunlight. I also take magnesium before bed because it helps me sleep better. I'm not super strict about it, but I try to stay consistent.
That's smart. All right, here's number 12. Do you usually cook at home or order delivery?
It's a mix, honestly. I cook at home most nights because it's healthier and cheaper. But there are definitely weeks when I'm swamped, and I end up ordering delivery more than I'd like to admit. Thai food and pizza are my usual go-tos when I'm too tired to cook.
Fair enough. Now I'm curious. What did you have for lunch today?
Today I had a chicken salad with some roasted vegetables. Nothing fancy, just something quick and filling. I meal prepped a few days ago, so I've been eating variations of the same thing all week. It's not the most exciting, but it gets the job done.
Practical. I like it. Let's go with the next one. Do you skip breakfast often?
I used to skip it all the time, but I've gotten better about it recently. Now I usually have something light, like yogurt with fruit or toast with avocado. I noticed I have way more energy when I don't skip it, so that's been motivating enough to keep the habit going.
Good for you. Question number 15. Are you trying to eat healthier these days?
Yeah, I am. Not in a restrictive way, but I'm being more mindful about what I eat. I'm trying to cut back on processed foods and add more vegetables to my meals. It's not about being perfect, just making better choices most of the time.
That's a healthy approach. Okay, here's one we probably all struggle with. Do you drink enough water during the day?
Honestly, probably not. I know I should drink more, and I've tried keeping a water bottle at my desk, but I just forget sometimes. By the end of the day, I realize I've barely had a few glasses. It's something I need to work on.
You're not alone in that. Now, question 17. Do you have any food allergies?
No, thankfully I don't. I'm pretty lucky in that sense. I can eat just about anything without any issues. I do have friends with serious allergies, though, and it seems really challenging when eating out or trying new foods.
It definitely can be. All right, let's move to number 18. Do you prefer sweet or savory breakfasts?
Savory? No question. I'm not really a sweet breakfast person. Give me eggs, toast, maybe some bacon or avocado, and I'm happy. Pancakes and waffles are fine once in a while, but they don't keep me full for very long.
Makes sense. Last one for this section. Is there a restaurant you go to all the time?
Yeah, there's this little Italian place near my apartment that I probably visit at least once a week. The staff knows me by name at this point. Their pasta is incredible, and the atmosphere is cozy. It's become my go-to spot when I want a nice meal without having to travel far.
That sounds lovely. And that's it for food and habits. Moving on to category 3, social and leisure. Max, do you have any plans for this weekend?
Not anything major, to be honest. I'm thinking about catching up with a friend for brunch on Saturday, and maybe doing some errands I've been putting off. Sunday will probably be a lazy day, just reading, watching something, recharging for the week ahead.
Sounds relaxing. Let me ask you this. Did you do anything fun last weekend?
Actually, yeah. I went hiking with a couple of friends. We found this trail about an hour outside the city, and the views were stunning. It was nice to get out of the usual routine and spend some time outdoors. We ended the day with dinner at a barbecue place, so it was a pretty solid weekend overall.
That does sound great. Here's question 22. Do you prefer going out on Fridays or Saturdays?
Saturdays for sure. By Friday, I'm usually exhausted from the week, so I prefer staying in, ordering something, and just unwinding. Saturdays, I have more energy, and I don't have to worry about waking up early the next day, so it feels less rushed.
Makes total sense. Now I want to know, are you watching any good series on Netflix right now?
I just started watching this crime drama called The Sinner. It's really gripping. One of those shows where each episode leaves you wanting more. I'm only a few episodes in, but I'm already hooked. I've been trying to pace myself so I don't binge the whole thing in one weekend.
That's hard to do with a good show. All right, next up. Do you prefer watching movies at the cinema or at home?
It depends on the movie, honestly. If it's a big action film or something visually stunning, I'll go to the cinema for the full experience. But for most other things, I'm perfectly happy watching at home. It's more comfortable, I can pause if I need to, and I don't have to deal with people talking during the movie.
Good point. Let's go with number 25. Do you listen to podcasts while you commute?
All the time. It's basically the only way I survive my commute. I listen to a mix of things: true crime, interviews, sometimes comedy podcasts. It makes the drive feel shorter and keeps my mind engaged instead of just sitting in traffic getting frustrated.
Smart use of time. Here's an interesting one. Do you follow any sports?
I follow basketball pretty closely, especially during the playoffs. I'm not obsessive about it, but I enjoy watching games when I have time. I also keep an eye on soccer during major tournaments like the World Cup. I'm not a huge sports person overall, but I do appreciate a good match.
Got it. Question 27. Do you prefer hanging out in big groups or just with one or two friends?
Definitely one or two friends. I find those conversations more meaningful, and I can actually relax and be myself. Big groups can be fun occasionally, but they're exhausting for me. I'd much rather have a deep conversation over coffee than trying to keep up with 10 people at a loud bar.
I can relate to that. Okay, here's the next one. When was the last time you went to a concert?
Oh, it's been a while, actually. Probably over a year ago. I saw an indie band I really like at a small venue downtown. The atmosphere was incredible, intimate, great sound. Everyone there was genuinely into the music. I'd love to go to more concerts, but tickets have gotten ridiculously expensive lately.
They really have. Last question for this section. Do you check social media a lot during the day?
More than I'd like to admit. I catch myself scrolling through Instagram or checking Twitter without even realizing it. I've been trying to cut back, especially during work hours, but it's such an automatic habit. I think I need to set some boundaries with my phone, maybe turn off notifications or something.
That's a good idea. And that wraps up social and leisure. Let's move into category 4, work and career. Max, are you happy with your current job?
For the most part, yeah. I wouldn't say it's my dream job, but it's challenging in a good way, and I feel like I'm learning and growing. There are days when I'm frustrated or overwhelmed, but overall, I think I'm in a decent place. It's one of those situations where I'm happy enough, but still keeping my options open.
That's honest. Next one. Is your job stressful lately?
It has been, actually. We've had a few big projects pile up at the same time, and deadlines have been tight. I've been working longer hours than usual, which is draining. The stress comes and goes, though. I know things will calm down in a few weeks, so I'm just trying to push through.
Question 32. Do you get along well with your coworkers?
Yeah, I do. I'm lucky in that sense. Most of my coworkers are pretty easygoing, and we have a good dynamic. There's mutual respect, and we can joke around when things aren't too hectic. Of course, there are one or two people who can be difficult, but that's unavoidable in any workplace.
True. All right, here's a popular debate. Do you prefer working from home or going to the office?
I prefer a hybrid setup, honestly. Working from home is great for focus and productivity, especially when I need to get deep work done. But I also value going into the office a couple of times a week for collaboration and just having that social interaction. Being home all the time can feel isolating after a while.
I think balance is key. Now, let me ask you, how long have you been working there?
It'll be 3 years this coming April. Time really flies. When I started, I thought I'd stay for maybe a year or two, but the opportunities kept coming, and I ended up sticking around longer than I expected. I think that's a good sign, though.
Definitely. Next up, do you ever work on weekends?
Occasionally, yeah. I try to avoid it, but sometimes there's a deadline or an urgent issue that needs attention. I don't make it a habit, though. Weekends are sacred to me. I need that time to disconnect and recharge. If I work on a Saturday, I'll usually take Monday easier to balance it out.
That's fair. Now I'm curious. What was your very first job?
Oh man, my first job was at a coffee shop when I was 16. I worked as a barista, making lattes and cappuccinos, cleaning tables, the whole deal. It was exhausting, but I learned a lot about customer service and working under pressure. Plus, I got really good at making coffee, which is a skill I still use today.
That's a solid first job. Question 37. Is your boss nice?
Yeah, my boss is actually pretty reasonable. She's demanding, but in a way that pushes you to do better work. She's approachable, gives constructive feedback, and doesn't micromanage, which I really appreciate. I know not everyone has that experience, so I'm grateful for it.
You're lucky. All right, here's the next one. Do you have a long commute to work?
It's about 40 minutes each way, so not terrible, but not ideal either. It used to bother me more, but now that I listen to podcasts and audiobooks, it doesn't feel like wasted time. Still, on days when traffic is bad, it can stretch to over an hour, and that's when it gets frustrating.
I can imagine. Last question for this category. Are you looking for a new job or are you settled?
I'm not actively looking, but I'm open to opportunities if something interesting comes along. I think it's healthy to keep an eye on what's out there, even when you're relatively happy where you are. I'm at a point in my career where I want to make strategic moves rather than just jumping ship for the sake of change.
Smart approach. And that's it for work and career. And now for our final category, home and family. Max, do you live alone or with roommates?
I live alone, and honestly, I really value that. I had roommates in my 20s, and while it was fun and more affordable, having my own space now is something I appreciate every day. I can do things on my own schedule, keep the place how I want it, and just have that privacy when I need it.
Okay, next question. Do you get along with your neighbors?
For the most part, yeah. I don't interact with them too much. We'll say hello in the hallway or chat briefly if we run into each other. But we're not close friends or anything. They're quiet and respectful, which is really all I ask for. No drama, no noise complaints. So I'd say we have a good neighborly relationship.
That's ideal. Let's go with number 42. Do you rent your place or do you own it?
I rent right now. I've thought about buying, but the housing market is pretty crazy at the moment, and I'm not sure I want to commit to one location just yet. Renting gives me flexibility, even though I know I'm not building equity. It's a trade-off I'm willing to make for now.
That makes sense. Here's the next one. Do you have a big family?
Not really. I have my parents, one older sister, and a few cousins scattered around the country. We're close-knit, but it's a small group. I actually prefer it that way. Family gatherings are manageable, and we all genuinely enjoy spending time together without it feeling overwhelming.
That sounds nice. Question 44. Do you see your parents often?
I try to see them at least once a month, sometimes more if schedules align. They live about 2 hours away, so it's not too far, but it does require planning. We talk on the phone regularly, though. I think as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate spending time with them more than I did when I was younger.
That's a sweet sentiment. All right. Do you have any nieces or nephews?
I do. My sister has 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. They're adorable and exhausting in equal measure. I love being the fun uncle who shows up, plays with them for a few hours, and then gets to leave when things get chaotic. It's given me a lot of respect for parents, that's for sure.
The fun uncle role is the best. Now, question 46. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I'd say I'm more of a dog person, though I don't have one right now because of my work schedule. I love how loyal and energetic dogs are. That said, I don't dislike cats. They're just a different vibe. If I had to choose a pet tomorrow, it'd probably be a dog, but one that's low maintenance and doesn't need constant attention.
Fair enough. Let me ask you this. Do you want to move to a different house eventually?
Yeah, I think so. Not immediately, but in the next few years, I'd like to move somewhere with a bit more space. Maybe a place with an extra room for a home office or a small outdoor area. As much as I like where I am now, I can see myself outgrowing it eventually.
Makes sense. Here's number 48. Who does the cleaning in your house?
That would be me. I try to keep things tidy throughout the week, but I usually do a deeper clean on Sunday mornings. I'll vacuum, mop, do laundry, all that fun stuff. It's therapeutic in a way. I put on some music or a podcast, and it's kind of meditative. Plus, I feel better when my space is organized.
I like that perspective. Last question, is your neighborhood quiet or noisy?
It's pretty quiet, thankfully. I'm not right in the city center, so there's less traffic and street noise. Occasionally, I'll hear a siren or someone's music, but it's rare. I specifically looked for a quieter area when I moved in because I value peace at home, especially after a busy day. It's one of the things I like most about where I live.
That sounds perfect. And that's all 50 questions. We've covered daily routine, food and habits, social and leisure, work and career, and home and family.
Well, that wraps up today's episode. We hope these questions and answers gave you some useful language for your everyday conversations.
Exactly. Remember, you can always come back to specific sections using the timestamps in the description. Practice the ones that feel most relevant to your life, and don't hesitate to pause and try answering them yourself before listening to our responses.
That's really the best way to improve. Active practice beats passive listening every time.
Absolutely. And if you found this episode helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like or drop a comment letting us know which category was your favorite. Your feedback helps us create content that's actually useful for you.
It also helps other learners find the podcast, so we're genuinely grateful for any support you can give us.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We truly appreciate you being here and working on your English.
Until next time, take care and see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.